I'm Evander, the real deal Holyfield. You are listening to 3-Point Conversion.
Tell me y'all ready? Okay, all right. Got a big challenge this week going to SMU. I think they've only lost one time in the last 3 years at home. Extremely tough place to play. You look at their offense is really what stands out to me. Top 10 scoring, passing, total offense. Their defensive line really jumps off the screen when you turn the film on. Do a great job against the run. So good test for our guys. We're looking forward to going there and playing. Questions?
Coach, you got to ask, injury questions every week. You're at the top of the list this week. How are you doing? We see you with the crutches.
Yeah, I got a fractured tibia, so I'm gonna be down a little bit, but we'll work through that and see how that goes.
You need surgery, or is it?
No, just got to be off of it for 6 weeks and let it heal. So it's got a few different fractures in it. So.
How does that impact your coaching through the week and during the games? Yeah,
I'll probably be on a golf cart here, during the week. I did that last night. A little bit awkward. Got to get used to that. Still working through exactly what that's going to look like on game day. So we'll figure that out here pretty quick.
If you aren't able to be on the field, who would kind of take over your duties on the field?
Yeah, we're still working through that. Yeah, that's some conversations that we're going to have this afternoon and kind of see what's best for us, moving forward, because this isn't going to be just a one-game deal. It'll be, the rest of the season.
Coach, first of all, appreciate you coming and playing her to be before us today. If you could go ahead and talk a little bit with the preparation of, we're still trying to find that big play, that whole situation, and with that in mind, Jalen Robinson, what about his status? We're going to see him this week?
Yeah, Jalen practiced last night. He was healthier than he was the week before, so there's a good chance that he'll be on the field playing and ready to go. Obviously, he's a playmaker, and, so that's really good for us.
Let's keep the injury theme going. What can you tell us about Isaiah Bowser and Dylan Gabriel?
Yeah, Isaiah, we'll see how he does. He didn't practice last night, so we'll see how he does on Tuesday. It's hard to say, and of course Dylan is, we'll see if we get him back before the end of the season.
I need to just talk about Jalen Robinson, but two of your best wide receivers are from Texas, Ryan O'Keefe and Jalen. Do you know is that an important deal for them being able to go back home and play in front of friends and family? Yeah,
there's no doubt, and I think they know a lot of the guys on SMU's team too, so those Texas guys kind of stick together, and it's always a big deal when you go back home, and so I know they'll be extremely excited. We got some other Texas guys too that'll be feeling the same way.
Beyond Ryan and Brandon Johnson, how badly do you need, whether Jalen Robinson returns, but how badly do you need the third receiver to kind of emerge?
Yeah, I think so. Nate Craig and Titus, they've both really done a good job this year for us. A lot of times playing without the ball. Obviously, Jalen gives us, Flash gives us a completely different dynamic, when he's on the field. So, but for the most part, Brandon and O'Keefe carried the mail here for the last 6 weeks, and I think they've done a really good job.
To that point, Mikey really seemed to come into his own the last couple of games. 7 TDs, only 1 interception. What have you seen at practice that makes you feel more comfortable with him and give him more responsibility?
Yeah, every week it's kind of, I think 6 weeks straight of him being our starter. I think he's starting to kind of feel like the starter and not just a replacement, and I think you can see his leadership growing each week, his confidence growing each week. I'd like to think the game's slowing down a little bit for him. He made some really good throws down the field, and that's really what we have to do. We have to push the ball down the field a little bit more. And when we do have those explosive plays, we usually score points.
Coach, you've mentioned it already, facing the top 10 ranked offense in SMU. What's the game plan going into this week for you and Coach Will defensively?
Well, we're not going to tell you. I'm not going to tell SMU, but we'll say this. They're very, very talented. That quarterback, wow, he's got the wow factor. When you watch him on film, he can make all the throws. He understands protections. He gets them in and out of good, plays. You got to keep a guy off balance. That's the only way you can offense like this. They got really talented receivers. They got a very talented tight end, and their running back's good too. So I think overall, there's a reason they're top 10. And I think he leads every category, you know, in our league, every passing category. So it's a big challenge for our defense, something they're looking forward to. We'll need to play well.
Coach, you mentioned earlier about SMU only having one loss in the last 3 years at home. You know, you guys undefeated at home. You guys know what that feels like. What are the challenges? What are you really telling your players about going into that kind of environment?
Yeah, I mean, you got to play good football. I mean, that's the bottom line. I mean, you got to go there and you got to play good football. And we've been talking for the last 3 weeks about let's be one of the few teams in college football that's actually getting better. And we'll have to get better. I mean, we'll have to play better than we did Saturday to have a chance to beat these guys. Our guys understand that. We get a lot of respect for them, and but we're looking forward to the challenge. I mean, it's, you know, playing one of the better offenses and really probably one of the better teams, you know, and get a chance to play on the road. So when you play on the road, you gotta, you know, there's something to be said about playing on the road, that closeness, that it's you against the world type mentality, which, you know, most players and coaches like. And when you're playing a good team, you know, you really look forward to the challenge.
Coach, you just mentioned playing a good team on the road. Do you think SMU might be Mikey Keene's biggest challenge of the year?
It could be. Up to this point, there's no doubt it could be. You know, their run defense, you know, they don't give up a whole lot of big runs, you know, and obviously we like to run the football, so, you know, that'll be a big challenge.
Andrew Osteen was able to get a punt, and it was down to the 1. How has he grown this season? Special teams, the punt team, I guess.
Yeah, you know, really, if you look at that game from Saturday, 2 of the biggest plays were probably the block punt that went out of bounds because they had the ball 39, 40-yard line. They had field position the whole game. We were backed up offensively, and that changed the whole dynamics. And then I guess the next series, we got them down to 1. Our defense held, got a short field. And special teams, you know, they're growing. Osteen made an unbelievable punt right there. That was good. It was good. We've been close on getting some punts, and we've been really close. And that was great to get that block. And I don't think Tulane had 1 block since that guy's been the head coach. So that was a really big play.
Coach, I think I want to talk again about your leg, but you coached the game with a broken leg on your feet. Did the doctor say anything about that? That's impressive.
Yeah, the whole adrenaline kicked in for a 56-year-old man. Is what happened. So hey, I just went with it. And I knew something was wrong. I didn't know how bad it was, but it worked out.
Is Quadric in the doghouse?
No, he's having fun. He was having fun. He was celebrating, and he didn't see me, and I wasn't quick enough to get out of the way. You know, maybe when I was early, I saw it in the corner of my eye, and I just wasn't quick enough to get out of the way. So.
Coach, we're talking to Marcus Tatum here in a few minutes. Just what has he been able to provide? I know he's an older guy. He was a transfer last year, came back for an extra COVID year. What has he brought to your offensive line this season, Marcus?
Yeah, experience. He's extremely athletic, and he's extremely smart. Like, he's a real smart guy and understands the game. And you know, we've really tried to play to his strengths. We've had some reverses and some things like that, and screens out in space. And you know, he's one of the better athletes I've been able to coach from an offensive line standpoint. He's an outstanding young man.
FSU and Florida were down a bunch of players this week due to the flu spreading at their universities. In addition to COVID, like, how have you guys just continued to like push health and safety protocols?
Yeah,
Around this time of the year.
yeah, our medical staff's done a super job. Our players have done a super job. I think that's the big thing is, you know, not putting themselves in tough situations. We've been real blessed as far as that goes, and the flu and everything that goes with that. And so the only issues we've had is on the field injuries. I mean, that's really, you know, that's the only thing we've dealt with, and we've dealt with that a lot.
Coach, you guys have gotten 15 sacks in the last 3 games, which is great. You were just talking about how good their offense is. Could you talk a little bit about their pass protection and their offensive line?
Yeah, of course they do a great job pass protection. I mean, or they wouldn't be as statistically as good, and that's going to be a big challenge. And you know, I say it every week, but you know, making a team one-dimensional, stopping the run, they're pretty good around the football too. So just getting in pass situations, let our guys pin their ears back and make plays. I think that's been the key the last 3 weeks.
What is it you like most about the play of the defense over the last 3 games?
You know, stopping the run. I mean, just stopping the run. I mean, we've given up really 10 points. I know we gave up a touchdown late when we had our other guys in there, but really we gave up 10 points in the last 2 games. And that's hard to do in college football. So you can see we're a defense that's growing. You can see that we're a defense that has get more confident. You know, and so it's really been fun to watch. Now we got our hands full this week. I think everybody knows that, but our guys are looking forward to the challenge.
Sonny Dykes, the head coach at SMU, do you have any familiarity with him?
Yeah. I played golf with him this summer, and he's a really good coach. And he's got his program. He's been there a while. He's been able to establish his program. He's recruited well. They got some really key transfers that came in that with the areas that they needed. They're playing really good.
Thanks.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
I thought about that. I pulled that.
Don't film this game. Can't put me quite on my right foot for 6 minutes. Besides that, I'm fine.
Appreciate it, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks for pushing through.
Okay.
All right, we have questions from Marcus Tatum.
All right, Marcus, how are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Doing great, doing great. So I think we talked with you in the preseason,
Right.
And you were coming back for another year and everything. So
Right.
you're almost, I guess, 2/3 or so of the way through it. Full-time starter. How's this season been for you? I know there's been some ups and downs with injuries in terms of the offense, but how's this season going for you this far?
Oh, it's going well. We've come together as offensive line and worked a lot, and just continue to grow each game. Just trust Coach Han, what he coaches us, and really just believe in what he coaches, and it's paid off.
How do you think the offensive line has performed recently?
We need to get better. There's always room to get better. Like, there's always games where we start doing good and the stats look better, but like the film's just not where it needs to be. And Coach Han has set the standards in the offensive line that we need to set and reach every game. And just because the stats are doing well and the points are being scored doesn't mean everything's perfect.
With Mikey coming in to replace Dylan, do you feel like you guys, as a unit, have had a bit more of a spark in games to play a little bit better?
Protection is protection no matter who's back there. And I feel like that's what's most important about the offensive line is that we block the same no matter who's back there because we're in so many different formations, so many different personnel back there. We just got to continue to block.
Yeah,
On
despite.
that
Go
point,
ahead,
how
Jason.
does things change when Isaiah comes out of the game and maybe you have Johnny from?
There's always different things that can match for personnel, but the blocking and the effort is still the same. But now based on plays and stuff, that's obvious. This fits to their strength. That's what Coach Malzahn does. He puts us in the best positions for our athletic abilities, and it pays off.
Despite all the injuries this season, how's the chemistry grown with this offensive line group?
It's grown a lot, actually, and our injuries, it brings us together because we all go through the same things. Our bodies are all talking to us, so no matter what, we can just lean on each other.
You and Sam Jackson both pushed forward runners for first downs. What's going through your head when you see them struggling to get the first down?
Because we're the bigger guys on the field, and just seeing those ball carriers being able to run downfield and just continue to make plays, it's nice to just run up there and help them and just lay a lick on the defense too.
Marcus, so injuries are part of football, playing through pain. Gus coached through pain tonight. He had a broken leg, yet he remained on his feet for the game. I mean, what's that say about the toughness? We're talking about that with players, but your coach is doing the same thing.
All right, it starts from the top to the bottom, man. That's what he coaches. That's what our strength staff coaches. That's what everybody coaches. So it's no surprise that he was still out there.
What do you think about the defensive front for SMU? Like, what have you seen on film?
They're very talented and just very solid and stout. Their run game fits it very well and very similar to like how Cincinnati fits things, and they just stay disciplined. And honestly, a lot of the defensive fronts in this conference have just become and gotten better. This is my first time playing SMU, so watching them on film is the first time I got to be able to watch them.
Do you ever see that? There's a couple of guys on offense, Jalen Robinson, Ryan O'Keefe. They're from Texas. I'm sure they're going to have more family and friends in the stands on Saturday. Have you kind of heard from those guys? Maybe how important this game is to some of your teammates from Texas?
Yeah, it's always important. I feel like every game is important for them, but it's just a little more special because their family's there. And like when your family's there and you haven't seen them in a while, it just means more.
Marcus, back here. We talked to Coach earlier about how SMU really only has one home loss in the last 3 years. You guys have been undefeated at home this year, so you guys know what that's like. What's the mentality and the challenges going into an environment like that where the home team is playing really well at home recently?
Well, that's what you want. You don't want to go there and have a easy game. You want to go there and accept the challenge and play a talented football team and it's a test. So that's what Coach Malzahn always talks about is just we want to go there and get tested by a good football team. That's what it's going to take.
Mark, it seems like, mostly it's the same five have been playing this year on the O-line. I know Adrian Melly's been getting in there a little bit, but just what are you seeing from the guys behind you? Because, this is your last year. You don't have another year to come back. There's a couple other seniors that may have a decision to make if they want to come back or not. So there'll be some new faces next year. So what have you seen from some of the depth behind you?
It's a very talented group. Ed Collins, he's done a great job. He comes in a lot in different formations, just does his job. Adrian, Mike Lofton. It's a good group, and I really just feel like it's a development in our coach hand. He coaches us all the same. Probably the guys that are starting even harder, and there's no favoritism. It's just everybody's earned it. So though they're not getting reps on the field during the games, they're definitely getting work in practice, and he's just staying on them just the same.
Marcus, I know winning the conference, it might be a little bit, difficult right now. There's a lot of things need to happen for you to get back in that mix, but just other than that, how do you want to finish things out as a team, individually, just, for your last month of college football? I'm sure, obviously got bowl eligibility the other night. What would be the perfect way to finish your college career here at UCF?
Right now, I can't really think about that. I got to think about SMU. It's a good team. If I'm going out there thinking about the future, I'm not going to do well.
Anything else? Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Marcus.
Thanks, Marcus. That last one was perfect. That's a head coach. That's a head coach right there. All right, questions for Andrew Osteen.
Hey, Andrew, how are you?
Pretty good. How about you?
Welcome to this press conference. I think it's the first time we talked to you here, so welcome.
First time.
Welcome. So there was a really big play in the game the other night that, obviously was a close game, and you called on to punt, and you knew you needed to do what you can to try to pin Tulane deep, and you did. Pinned them at the 1 yard line. I know you had some help to get that down, but just talk about that punt and how big that was, because that ultimately led to the go-ahead touchdown for you guys.
Yeah, that was actually a really big punt. Being able to put them on the 1 yard line, I think their offense was kind of moving the ball pretty good around that time as well. And it was a close game as well, obviously. But being able to just flip the field and make the defense start out, put the defense on the 1 yard line, that was pretty big.
How do you feel like your season has gone for you? How have you grown as a punter this year? Working under Brian Blackman, new staff.
Starting out, not so good. There's some things that I wish I could get back, but overall, I think I've done a decent job, not the best that I wanted. But as the season's gone on, I think I progressed pretty well, being able to be a little bit more consistent. But I like what we're doing on our punt stuff with Coach Blackman. I think he has great schemes. I think Coach Larson has great schemes with the other side of the ball with punt return and blocking kicks, obviously. But so far, I think we're just doing a pretty good job.
Saturday night, Coach had said that it was the best special teams game that you guys had in the season. You agree with that?
Yeah, I agree with that, absolutely. I think we could honestly have had 4 block punts already this season, but getting that block punt near the end of the game was big. I think we covered kicks really good. They did have a very dynamic returner, but I think overall that probably was definitely our best game.
Andrew, what's your week like as you obviously prepare for a game? It's a little bit different than a normal position player. Do you just kind of work on your personal skills and craft? How much film do you look at sometimes the special teams coverages? How much of that goes into it?
I watch film every day. We meet at 4:30, watch our kicks, correct anything that needs to be corrected. During the week, usually I punt maybe like twice a week. Not trying to do too much and get myself tired before the game. Same as Daniel and Alex and all them. We usually kick around the same amount, but it's relaxed, but it's not relaxed at the same time. So there's 2 sides to it.
You made you had a punt caught at the 21 yard line, fair caught. Was that a specific adjustment after that? You talked about the dynamic returner. They took a couple back pretty well.
Kind of. What do you mean? Like,
was it like a specific adjustment? Like, did you talk to Coach Blackman about that?
Our goal with the entire night was to hit like a 40-45 yard ball. So yeah, I didn't want to hit it too deep because I know if he was able to have space, he was going to break one, which he kind of did twice. But it was really mostly for the gunners to get down and just not really much changing too much, but just having them to keep them from coming back to the field.
Andrew, you work with Alex Ward, long snapper, very experienced, very excellent long snapper. What does he mean to you, just knowing that you're consistently going to get the ball where it needs to be for you to execute the punt?
It's amazing having him. He'll be in the NFL after this year, probably. But he does a great job. He does great at protecting. He covers really well. I think he got a fumble recovery last game, actually. So that was pretty cool to see. But he's probably the best snapper in the country right now, to me. So it's been great having him for the past 2 years that I've had him.
Earlier, you said you wish you had some moments back, maybe Navy, maybe Cincinnati. How do you shake moments like that off?
Really just got to come back and focus. I can't really worry about it. If I worry about every kick, especially as specialists, you can't just sit there and dwell on kicks in a game. You got to be mentally strong. You got to just go back to what you've been always doing and just do the best job that you can.
Andrew, how did you become a punter? I mean, I don't know if every kid your dreams of being a punter, but was it something? Were you a soccer guy at Georgia or something?
Yeah.
How was the evolution of you becoming a punter?
I grew up playing soccer up until the 8th grade. I actually quit. Didn't want to play anymore. But I was always good at kicking. So it really transitioned over pretty easy. I started kicking in 8th grade, and from then on, went all the way up to high school. And I was like, well, getting pretty good at this. Figured I can definitely go play college football doing this. My high school coach helped me out a lot as well. He definitely saw a future in it, and I did as well. And I just kind of grew into it, really.
Injuries have obviously been pretty bad with this team, but then you see your 56-year-old head coach break his leg and then still continue to stay out there. You know, how impressive is that to see the toughness that he really portrays?
He never likes to show weaknesses. He's a pretty tough guy, mentally strong, but I didn't even know he messed up his leg until I saw him limping, and he was limping pretty bad, and I was like, well, somebody should get him a boot or something. But I don't think he wanted to take it. But having him around has been phenomenal. He's probably one of the best head coaches in the country to me. But he's a great guy.
And just a little bit more on that. You said, you think Gus is one of the best head coaches in the country. Obviously, he came in. You guys didn't have a head coach for a few weeks, and he seemed like he won the team over pretty quickly. What is it that you think got the team to make that connection so quickly to a coach you didn't even know?
I think just knowing his past and what he did at Auburn, and just the success he had, and he's a really player first coach. He made a lot of changes whenever he came in. He upgraded a lot of facilities. I think he plans to do some more. He sees a bright future at this program. He believes he's going to win a national championship here. I do as well. Really, that's about it.
Andrew, take me through the science of punting. Like, how challenging is it when maybe there's a bit more pressure, you have to speed up a little bit? Like, for the average viewer, let's say they bring pressure, you have to go a little faster than normal, and you don't kick it as far as you usually would, and the fans might just say, hey, just kick the ball harder. Like, how difficult is that from your perspective to perform at that level?
I usually, during the week, I know whenever a team is going to rush or whenever they're safe. So really, if I see a team that's hard on rushing and that's been able to block kicks, I know I got to tell myself I got to be under a 2-0 operation. So in the game, I gotta know I gotta go faster, even if the ball. You like to hit the ball farther, and usually whenever I'm going faster, sometimes my steps are smaller in the mechanics of punting, and that does help you hit the ball a lot farther. But I try not to rush it, even though sometimes that does happen. But it's just always about seeing what their demeanor is whenever they're up the line, and knowing if they're gonna rush or not, and that usually tells me what I need to do if I know I got time, or if I know I gotta speed up.
Andrew, I didn't look it up. Have you ever got a tackle in your time?
No, actually, I think Saturday I pushed a guy.
Okay. Maybe if you get a tackle there, that means the returner returned it pretty good. But is that a goal to kind of finish their career trying to get a good tackle?
I would like to. I think Daniel has like 2 on me right now, and Alex has a fumble recovery, and I think he has a couple tackles. I would like to be able to get one, but preferably, don't really want to. But yeah, I would like to.
On a recent episode of Our Time, they featured the specialist. Did you see it?
Yeah, I saw.
Were you in it enough?
I guess. I know.
Alex seemed to be in it a good bit.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't really worried about like my time being on the show, like showing during the specialist stuff. I think they showed him and Alex and Daniel the most, if I'm correct. I mean, it's alright. It didn't really bother me that much.
What's the camaraderie like? What is the camaraderie around you guys? Like, what chemistry-wise, like the special teams kind of? What is it like?
We're all real close. Always making jokes about each other. Spend a lot of time with each other. Just that's how it is. We hang out a lot outside of football as well. So I mean, we're all real close, all good friends. All like being around each other. Always, being able to coach each other up whenever something that we think that we can correct them on. So it's always good to have people like in the specialist room that knows the other side of like kicking as well. Like if I see something that Daniel's doing, I usually try to give him a little endpoints. He does the same thing for me. So just having that aspect of it is really good.
It was a little cold on Saturday. What were you doing to stay warm and loose on the sidelines?
I had a hand warmer. So that helped my hands actually. But really just stretching on the sideline, swinging my leg, hitting the ball into the net, just really moving around, trying to stay warm.
Are there any punters, current or former pro punters that you like watch film or look up to, like Pat McAfee or something like that?
I mean, yeah, I've watched Matt. Pat. I've watched Mac, who used to play here a lot. He's hitting the ball really good right now. I like what he's doing technique-wise. But Thomas Morstead is a good one to watch that I watched. Johnny Townsend was really good as well, fundamentally-wise. Really, those main guys, just I try to watch what they do and do the same thing.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.